What's up guys, Bomboy here, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Time PVMer series. If you want to check out the rest of the series, or my previous Road to Raid series, or any of my other videos, you know, the links are in the description so you can check that out. There's a bit more information about the status of my account as well down there. And as always, I'd just like to welcome everybody, whether you're new or old to the series. So yeah, if you do enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. You know, feel free to leave a comment. Tell me how you feel about what's going on in the video, whether I'm doing anything wrong. You know, I'm quite happy to learn new things about the game. And if you didn't like it, feel free to give it a dislike. Let me know what's wrong, and I will try and fix that for you. Anyway, there's 91 farming coming in, and that's only one of 2 levels that I get this week. So, you know, they're few and far between at the moment. And also, if you do enjoy the videos and you are new, please feel free to subscribe. It helps a lot, and, you know, it would be really nice to kind of grow as a channel. Anyway, let's get into the content. So I don't know where these clues came from. They were just in the bank. I had a medium and a hard, and I believe the medium, you know, they're just like literally random. They might have been from fishing or mining or whatever I might have been doing, but I decided I better get them out of the way, and they were absolute junk, so no worries, you know. Now here, because I've just got 91 farming, and as I mentioned in my previous video, at 91 farming you can plant 2 spirit trees, which is actually massively useful. Spirit trees are like 20k XP to check when you grow one, so they're very good XP. They take about 3 days to grow. However, the locations that they grow at can be incredibly useful. So at first I was thinking I would stick one at Ports of Rim, because I've been coming here quite a lot for clue scrolls and things like that. There's a master clue step that requires you to fish a salvial, and I keep needing to come to this fishing shop here and get the specific rod, because you can't just pick it up somewhere else. My game knowledge on fishing equipment is pretty weak, I have to say, but this is, you know, one of the best areas for me to get a rod. So having a tree there would be massively useful as a bit of a time saver. And then the next spot is actually a bit of a weird one. I don't know, maybe you guys wouldn't think so, but it's on Miscellanea, on the far east side of Miscellanea, so Ex HC basically, if you remember the quest. And I'm planting a spirit tree here because there's a bush patch right next to it as well. And recently I've been farming a lot of bush patches for, you know, kind of herb secondaries or for tree payments, so that's going to come in handy, and I can't wait for them to be fully grown. Anyway, this is a clip of me. I've just spent, what, just shy of like 30-40 minutes enchanting these sapphire rings. It's probably a bit less than that, because my Ring of Suffering had officially run out completely. So I noticed last week that it only had 40 charges left, and then I accidentally used those 40 charges at Calphite Queen. So yeah, 40 charges is equivalent to 1 recoil, so I charged up 810 there, and that should last me quite a long time. And I've got a lot of recoils left as well. So anyway, I'm back at Calphite Queen, and you know, we are still just sub 100 KC here. I did do the entire task at Calphite Queen. I know a lot of people struggle to do that. It did take me like 3 or 4 evenings. But anyway, this is either our 2nd or 3rd Calphite Queen head. I did have another one, and I can't remember whether it was earlier or later, but I can't find the clip, unfortunately. So in total, in about 160 something kills, 170 something kills, I got 3 Calphite Queen heads, which I was really worried I was going to go horribly dry on. And then on kill number 101, we get another nice little surprise. Let's see what we get. And there it is, a 2nd dragon chain. So if you remember in the last video, I'll show you a clip. I got 50 on kill count 53. I got the dragon chain body, and then on kill count 54, I got the Calphite Queen head. So we've gone back to back, but in the opposite direction this time, and that was quite fun, you know. So I've got 3 dragon chains now in the account, and 3 Calphite Queen heads, one of which is obviously mounted in my house. So in the future, if I want to make a head into the Slayer helmet, I can, you know, do so. Moving on, we've got ourselves an elite casket, and this is from the Calphite Queen itself. And let's see what we get. It's one of the nastiest caskets I've had in a long time, actually, for an elite there. You know, alcohol stuff, whatever. Anyway, so my next task was actually Greater Demons, and that's good for me right now because I am still looking for Godshard shard pieces, as you may know from the last video. Also, I need a Zamorak Hilt and a Staff of the Dead, and I'm not too fussed about the Zamorak Hilt. really. It's not going to be handy for anything that I do in part of PVM, except for maybe one boss in raids, which I won't ever take that item to do that boss. It seems like a bit of a waste. So, Staff of the Dead is the key thing here. But anyway, we walk in and we get ourselves a Steam Battle Staff on the second kill of the task. So this turned out to be my 5th Steam Battle Staff actually. So I've been incredibly lucky with those Steam Battle Staffs, but they're not really used for anything. They might be applicable to some skilling situations where I'm having to do lots of teleports or a specific spell. But until I find out what that is, these are technically useless. Still a nice item to have, you know, 0.5 mil each, so that's 2.5 mil plus in just this random staff. So next up, we're going for kill count number 354, and I have no intention of doing the entire task at Zamorak. You know, if it takes that, if it's multiple tasks to get all the items I need, then so be it. But right now I'm looking for Slayer XP and points. But I was lucky, and I got myself another Zamorakian Spear. So that's my 3rd for this account. If you notice the price there, it's like 15.2 mil, which is more than double what it used to be. That's obviously in preparation for the new Hydra boss that will be coming in January. And there will be an item that you can get from that boss to attach to a Zamorakian Spear, which can turn it into a Dragon Hunter Lance, which will be one of the best in slots for all the dragons. So it was very handy to actually get a second spear, so that I've now got one for Corp when I get there, and one for the Hydra if I ever get that component, which I will be working for. That's part of the reason I'm slaying so hard right now, is because I'm trying to build up a lot of points. You know, a lot of people say 1,000 points should be enough. That's quite a few task skips. But I kind of don't think so, because when I got to 87 Slayer, which is when you're ready to kill the Cave Kraken, it actually ended up taking me till almost 90 Slayer to get that task, even with more than 1,000 points worth to skip. And yeah, it was like 3 or 4 weeks of Slayer to try and get the one task I wanted. So, you know, I'm going for as many points as I can, you know, 2k minimum. But I started this video, so at the beginning of this week, with like 1,221 Slayer points. So yeah, not a bad start. And I obviously won't be using that Kalphite Queen head on the Slayer helmet anytime soon, but we'll see what points we can get to towards the end of the video. Now here I am, I'm just taking down these last 2, and I'm using the Blood Barrage. It's wonderful for extending your trips and minimizing damage when you're killing these demons. But there we go, a Godsword Shard 3, and if you were watching last week's video, you would have seen, you know, my struggles for getting this Godsword Shard 3. They're so imbalanced as to how rare each one is. They're supposed to have the same rarity, but everyone ends up with like a huge bias to one of the pieces and not the other. So this actually completes my 2nd Godsword blade, which is funny because now it means that I can complete my 2nd Armadyl Godsword. So I have no other hilt, so it's going to be the 2nd Armadyl Godsword just for the time being, because you can always take the blades off the hilts in future. So, you know, when I get a Saradomin Hilt and maybe a Bandos Hilt, they'll swap to those. But until then, I've got 2 AGSs sitting in the bank, and they're at the lowest price I think I've ever seen them, which is such a sad thing, you know. I was hoping that them fixing the kind of the smiting issue with the maces would actually increase the price of the AGS, because people would be braver, but sadly not. So here we are, just making the blade, and as you can see, I've already got 1 complete AGS in the inventory, the Armadyl Godsword, and I've got a 2nd hilt there, and I'm just completing this blade here. There you go. It's not an item you see very often in the game, but yeah, that's it. 2nd one done, and I have 2 AGSs. So when it goes EOC and we can double wield these things, I'm prepared. Here we go. We've got another casket coming in, and I believe this is a hard clue. Oh, it's a medium, in fact. And there we go. A gold elegant skirt, and that is a unique, but it's the first piece of gold elegant I've got, so that's just gonna lock up the bank space. Anyway, so now I'm checking out Lava Mine, and I only did 1 round, and I've got the wrong gear. I should have had prayer gear on and stuff like that. They were going fast. I didn't really have time to prepare. And this is the run out, and it was pretty intense. So I thought I was out at this point, so I sat there for a second, and you can see everyone's just like 2 seconds ahead of me in terms of their game. And when we get out of the rope, let's look at the time remaining. Oh, 0-0, but 10.4k mining XP. and we got a few points. So this was an interesting thing to try out. And I think if DIY Mary J is on again doing this, I will probably join him, because this is going to be a more fun way to obtain volcanic ash. It is slower per hour, volcanic ash, than mining it, but I think it's going to be kind of a lot less wasteful, so I probably will be doing more of that. Anyway, a guy then called out a dragon impling, and I went straight for it at these sand crabs, and we're going to see what we get in just a second. There we go, 3 dragon stones, one of the worst drops, but you know, I like to collect glories, so they will add up eventually. Anyway, this spot at sand crabs is actually pretty crazy for implings. They called out like 3 more throughout the day later on, which I missed because I was at God Wars dungeon. But so straight after the dragon impling is a ninja impling, which, you know, good source of hard clues if you're lucky, and some alkaballs. And then once I'd caught that, I saw an eclectic impling, you know, just to the west, so I went for that as well in the hopes of a medium clue, but sadly no dice. So back again, back at Zami. And yeah, I prefer doing Zami to a lot of other Slayer tasks actually. It's very easy, it's quite quick to return and get the kill count down. But this is something huge for me. This is the Staff of the Dead, and I really wanted it because I love mage equipment, and this has a very useful spec, which if you use the special attack, it will and keep the staff wielded, I should say, it will protect you from melee damage and reduce it by 50%, I believe, for up to 2 minutes, maybe? It might be a minute. Numbers are a bit wrong. However, this is good for tanking in the wilderness if I ever find a situation where it will be useful, which there are definitely situations where tanking in the wilderness is useful. But also, it is one of the very best staffs in the game. It can be used, I think it has the same stats as a whip, but can train strength, so it's very powerful for melee, but also it is pretty damn powerful for mage, and it has a good attack bonus, if you see what I mean. So the stats are good, the percentage damage increase is pretty nice as well. So I was hoping that if Hydra was going to be some weird kind of tribrid boss or something where mage is actually required, it would be nice to have the Staff of the Dead ready. So yeah, obviously I do have the Kodai as well, but Staff of the Dead might have been, you know, more useful. So I just wanted to have it in the bank, you know, ready to go. And I do need to get another Magic Fang for it, in fact, because after all the Zora I've done, over 1,000 kill count, I have 2 Serpentine Helms, or 3 Serpentine Helms, I should say, and 3 Blowpipes, effectively, and then only 1 Magic Fang, and no Onyxes from Zora on this account. So I do need another Magic Fang to go on this Staff of the Dead, to make it a toxic Staff of the Dead, which is even more powerful. So here we are, you can see in my chat log there, I've just done my 650th task, got a 225 point bonus, and I'm now up to 1,506 Slayer points. So I'm making good headway, and I've got quite a few easy tasks today. So I got Black Dragons twice, which I do brutals, so they're very quick. I got 2 different types of Wyvern tasks, so the Fossil Island Wyverns and then the Skeletal Wyverns, so they're quite quick as well. I got 2 Mythril Dragon tasks, which you might see a little bit of content from in the future. But here we go, let's see what this Elite Casket is from. And there we go, that's super rubbish loot. That was from the Brutal Black Dragons. Anyway, I had a Kraken task as well, and I actually have another one now whilst recording this video, so I'll be getting on with that later. But that was 2,500 kill count, and I've only had 5 tentacle whips, basically 5 of the actual tentacle. I need 11 in total, so 1 for the whip and then 10 to upgrade the Trident of the Seas, which I do want to do, so that it has 25,000 charges. And it's been ages since I've had a full Trident as well, so the runes are actually depleting quite fast at this point. Anyway, so this is obviously from the Blue Dragon content, and I have to say I'm sorry, because I was killing them on mobile. I just thought it was so unlikely in a task of like 34 blue Mythril Dragons or whatever to get one of these chewed bones, which are a 1 in 300 drop. But I was laying there in bed, and boom, chewed bones came up. So I hopped right onto the computer and tried them out. Very first one ever, and nope. I got 2 Mythrapples, and yeah, that was it. So we'll have to keep working on that. But that's why I unlocked that task. I will grind that out. I do want a Dragon Ball Helm. I was doing some black demon slaying basically, and I see this absolute champion here in Torags and of like a berserker helm, but he's got this silver light, and I just couldn't work out what he was doing. He was doing no damage, but I think he thought he had the right weapon. I think he'd seen the arc light and was like, oh yeah, I've got that, and yeah. But as soon as I stepped towards him, he ran away, so I guess he thought I was going to have a go at him for crashing, but I wasn't. Anyway, this is the second level that I end up getting this video. So in a whole week, I've only gone up 2 total levels, and it's 86 Hunter, and it's been purely from birdhouse runs. So the XP's really starting to add up from these, and so are the bird's nests. The seeds, meh, not so much. I think I've had 1 magic seed in total since I started doing this, so they are very rare, but I thought they weren't quite that rare. Anyway, another casket coming in here, and I believe this is a heart. Oh, this is the master. There we go. And that's it. We get ourselves a nice little Hood of the Darkness, and I got this from a hard clue scroll. But yeah, a Hood of Darkness is actually the 3rd piece of the Darkness robe. So I've got the gloves, the tops, and now the hood. So I need the boots and the robe legs, and then that can be stored in my house or be used for Fashionscape. That's quite a nice item. But there you go. You can see the body and the gloves in the bank. And now the hood too. Right, so this is where I'm going to leave you. You can see the sad state of affairs in my inventory here. I'm just going to put them in the price checker just to make it a bit more central. But 145 cannonballs, yes, those are cannonballs. They've just got snow on top of them. And 65 Quambrans and not many sharks or manta rays. But I do have quite a lot of sharks to cook. This is what I'm looking at preparing for kind of the early part of next week. So I do need to get a lot more Quambrans. I have to fish them. I need to make steel bars and then make them into cannonballs. And this is just to help continue with Slayer grinding and doing bossing, obviously. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave you this week, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy. I'll see you on RuneScape. Peace.